Hi, welcome to Center Stage Guitar Academy. In this lesson, we're going to be learning No Particular Place to Go by Chuck Berry. A classic blues tune, basically a 12-bar blues pattern. It's in the key of G. So we're going to use our 1, 4, and 5 chords. And we're also going to learn the solo. So let's get started with the intro. That is just an augmented chord, a D augmented chord. And basically, you want to put your pinky on the 12th fret D string, that's our root. And you want to put your second finger on the 11th fret G string, your third finger on the 11th fret B string, and your first finger on the 10th fret high E string. I think he does all downstrokes, so. And it's common for blues tunes to start on an augmented chord. Usually it's most of the time it's the 5th chord. So in the key of G, the 5 is D, right? Or D, dominant 7 chord. But you'll hear them start the song playing an augmented 5. So you'll hear that a lot. So that's basically what he's doing here. He's just playing it up here higher. Then we go into the verse, and it's just like a blues shuffle using a power chord and playing the 6 with your pinky. So we're going to use a G power chord, and then we're going to use our pinky on the 7th fret of the A string. So that's how it goes. And then they do the stops. Then we go to C, our 4 chord, which is just straight down. Then we go back to G. Then we go to D, which is on the 5th fret of the A string. That's our 5 chord. Then we go back to the 1, the G. And that starts all over. And he kind of palm mutes a little bit. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the rhythm part. Now Chuck is playing a little lead part over that. And that is using basically G pentatonic minor. This is the second box of G pentatonic minor. So G pentatonic minor is here. There's an extension of G, of the pentatonic minor's different boxes. He's kind of up here in the second box. This is a really common lick right here. So you're going to slide up from the 5th fret G string to the 7th fret G string with your second finger, but you're also going to slide with your 1st fret on the 4th fret to the 6th fret. And Chuck, he plays a ton of double stops, 2-note licks and stuff. So then you go 5th fret, B and G string, I'm borrowing that with my first finger. Then 3rd fret, G and B string, and then you hit the root note there on the 5th fret of the D string. 3, 4. Okay, so that's one lick. The other lick he alternates that with is, and that is just the high E and B string on the 3rd fret, barred with our first finger. Then we come here to the 7th fret, the 5th fret, and we bar the G and B strings with our 3rd finger. Classic double stop. Same strings with our first finger on the 3rd fret. And and then hit the root on the 5th fret of the D string. So he does 2, you know, he starts with he does that twice. Then he goes to the other lick twice. 3, 4, 1. Then he'll go back to the other lick. And it just alternates like that. Some verses start with the, and some start with the, but it's always 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. So that's the main part of the song, the biggest chunk of it. Now let's take a look at the solo, the first solo. That's the first solo. So what he's starting with here is this. It's basically a little G, a G triad here. If you played your D chord, you know, and you slid that all the way up, so your 3rd finger was on the root. That's G. And formed a D chord. Now we're not going to play the low E or the D string. But that's what he's playing over the first 4 bars. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're on G for the first bar, right? The 1 chord. So you kind of slide that up. Okay, four times there, and then you can give it some vibrato too, and that'll really make it sound more like the record. Okay, then we go to the 4 chord, and over that he's basically playing a little like the 3rd and the 5th of a C chord. So he's kind of arpeggiating a little bit that C chord. And that's right here with your 3rd finger on the 9th fret of the G string and your 1st finger on the 8th fret of the B string. So I'm just sliding from a half step behind. Okay, then so he does this little walk down to land on the 1 chord again. So that's a double stop, B and G string on the 7th fret, barring with my 1st finger. Then 5th fret, same thing. Then we land on basically a G chord here, the 3rd and the 5th interval of the G chord. So he's kind of pointing out that we're back on the 1 chord. So he does. So he slides, he's on the G chord. That's the 3rd fret of the B string, 4th fret of the G string. Same figure, he slides it up. We're back kind of in that 2nd box of the pentatonic minor scale. 2nd finger is on the 7th fret of the G string, 1st finger's on the 6th fret of the B string. 5th fret, G string, slide back to the 3rd fret, G string, and with our 3rd finger we hit the root note on the 5th fret of the D string. So let's take it from the C there. Then he repeats that same lick. he does it one more time, it's varied a little bit. Okay, so let me put that all together. Okay, I'm going to take it from the beginning of the solo. Okay, from there, we'd have the last little lick. And that's a little pinky on the 6th fret of the high E string, 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the B string. And you bend that B string just a little bit, maybe a half bend, quarter bend. Then we do a double stop on the 3rd fret, high E and B string. Same thing on the 5th fret, but now we're going to use our 3rd finger. And then back to the 3rd fret. And then come here to the 6th fret, that's our blues note right there. 5th fret. Those are all double stops. So, and then we're back into the verse. Okay, so one time with the whole solo. And that's it. So the only other part we got here is there's a little lick at the end. I want to show you how to end it. So we're coming out of our 5 chord. You hit the G. Okay, so you come out of the 5 chord. You hit your G, kind of a power chord. Come up here to the 8th fret with our 2nd finger and the 7th fret on the G string with our 1st finger. So 8th fret A string, 7th fret G string. You just do a chromatic walk down, half step down, till you get to the 5th fret. And I'm kind of muting the D string in between by just muting it with my 2nd finger. And then we go, that's the 4th fret, like a power chord, and then we end on our root on G. Okay, so that's it for No Particular Place to Go by Chuck Berry. Now remember, the cool thing about blues is you don't always have to play the solo they're playing. I would strongly encourage you to play around with your pentatonic minor scale, or if you know the major pentatonic minor scale or the major pentatonic scale, you know, to make up your own solo and kind of practice along with the record and see what you can come up with.